So we'll give you the grid shortly then for the CNC Heads Northwest Sports and Saloon Car Championship. It's certainly the most varied grid we have today. But first of all, our race interview has caught up with some of the drivers in the paddock earlier on.
Well, hello everybody. We've managed to survive the downpour. As you can see, it's almost time for the CNC Heads Sports Saloons race 1 to get underway. And they're no strangers to a bit of a washout last time at Alton Park. Of course, race 2 they managed about half a lap, and then it was a red flag due to weather conditions. Although the sun has now come out, so we're hopefully going to get this race. Let's go for a little walk and talk, shall we, with some of the drivers. We've got a good friend of ours, Yasser Sapra, is over here. Let's have a chat with him, find out how he's feeling ahead of this one. I wonder if he's happy as well that the rain has just stopped. Right, are we happy the rain stopped?
Yeah, I think we've got wets on now. We'll see what happens, isn't it?
Been quite a chaotic day. And actually, is there anything you don't race in?
Not really.
You've always got a smile on your face. It's good to see you. You ready for this day? Happy?
Yeah, we're just, we're on the wrong, don't know what tyre choice. Yeah. What wet's on, see how we go.
Fantastic. Nice to talk to us. Yes, well, there we go. Let's pull that back from. Let's take a bit of a walk, shall we, as well move ourselves back. Pretty much there's a whole range of cars that we've got here. I remember seeing this particular Skyline as well up at Goodwood. So let's jump in and have a quick chat, shall we, Mr. Wood, and find out how we're feeling ahead of this one. We're just getting ourselves strapped in. I'm just going to rather rudely interrupt. I'm so sorry. I'm just rude. I'm really sorry. And now a bit of a fan favourite, this car. So what is it like to drive a car?
It's like kind of like you'd expect.
Bullet.
So yeah, so it's very heavy, but that does it a favour in the weight. Yeah. So it's very planted.
So you're actually relishing this right now?
Usually, I would be doing a fantastic rain dance, but just so happens I didn't look at my wets properly.
Ah, okay.
And the last person to use them was Jake at Goodwood.
I was there. I interviewed him as he got out.
Right, well, so when I see him or speak to him next week, I'm going to tell him that I now know he flat spotted my front tyres down to the canvas. So because I've not come that well equipped today, unfortunately I've only got some flatted canvassed wets.
So if it goes well, it's all on you. If it doesn't go well, it's Jake Hill's fault.
You always got to have your plan number 2, haven't you?
Yeah, people will have that excuses in. Nice and talking to us. Best of luck as well. What a range of cars we've got. It is absolutely beautiful. Pretty much anything go. There are 2 sort of classifications as well. Your modified and your specials. Then they're split off into a number of divisions too. Don't forget, if you get a chance as well to listen to the BARC podcast, do have a listen to that. It is the BARC's brand new podcast. Myself and Alan Hyde do give it a listen if you get a moment. We've had a couple of red flags. If we have one later, why not have a tune and listen in? It is on the YouTube channel as well. Let's just move our way down a little bit. I think we might have time just for another chat as well. Paul Rolls, the man on competition for this one. But let's just dump down and have a quick chat with the number 30 find out how we're feeling. And of course the big question is, do you like it slippy out there? Yeah. So we're in the treat.
Definitely. I prefer it like this.
Yeah.
100%.
It's going to be quite erratic. It's going to be quite good fun. But what a selection of cars, and yours is special too.
It's well, what's left of it of a 205. There's not a lot left, but it's got a 2.4 Honda engine in it, about 280 brake horse, weighs about 800 kilograms.
So this is going to, you're going to be chucking this round Donington.
Oh yeah, especially in this weather, definitely.
Fantastic. Thanks for talking to us. Best of luck. Right, I think that's about it from us. The car's almost lined up. Almost time for race 1 off the CNC Heads Sports Saloons. Dave, over to you.
Okay, thanks very much indeed, Ian. Let's have a look at the grid then for our first race of the weekend for the CNC Heads Sports and Saloons. It's an all-Seika sports car, front row, 48 Paul Rose on pole and 47 Steve Harris alongside him in the Seika S1 500s. Second row, 35 Ray Harris, no relation to Steve, in the Ginetta G55 alongside Simon Alloway, number 6 in the famous Lotus Esprit V8. That's effectively a Formula 5000 single-seater with an Esprit body on top. Row 3 of the grid, is number 29, Aaron Armiger, with his Vauxhall Tigra silhouette, and 51, Roddy Patterson from Scotland in his Caterham C400. The fourth row, Jasmine Sapra in one of his collection of BMW M3s. Starting alongside him, the third of the Sakers, the slightly lower capacity Rapex S1400 of David Clark. Row 5 is Chris Petch, number 12, with his Ginetta G50, and Gary Wardle in his Cupra TCR car, number 27. And then on row 6, we've got perhaps the star car of the day, the Calsonic Skyline of 123, Rick Wood. As we said, a familiar car to those of you who played Gran Turismo. Alongside him, number 7, Conor Modrow, with a Ginetta G40. Row 7 is Darren Owen, Deadly Daz, as he's known from his Bangor racing days. First appearance of the season in his Ford Escort RSR space frame, alongside Guy Carter in his TVR Tuscan. That's going to be a handful in these damp conditions. Row 8 is the championship leader, Ian Bamber. I did say earlier that he wasn't out this weekend. I missed him off my entry list. Apologies there. Ian Bamber's Ginetta G20 starts alongside number 30, Rob Wakelin. We just heard from him in the Peugeot 205-based modified saloon. Row 9, Stephen Parker, number 77, with a BMW Compact, and Richard Hall in his Caterham 420R. The 10th row, Bod Buckby, also in a Caterham, and Rick Walker in his Mini John Cooper Works. Then on to row 11 of the grid. We have got 144 Tim Foxlow. He's the other space frame Escort out there, similar to Daz Owen's car, the Escort RSR. He starts alongside number 87 David Green with his Honda Civic Coupe. Row 12 is Tom Franklin in the now rare Renault 5 GT Turbo, and Connor Harvey, number 97, in a Caterham. Row 13 is Matt Jones in a Ford Focus Smart 1 RS, and Tony Harmon in the pink Ginetta G20, number 66. Row 14, Peter Kukulas in his Toyota MR2 Roadster, and Gary Warburton's Mini Miglia. Row 15, Bob Claxton with his Mark III Golf GTI. Alongside him, Brian Allen in his Ford Puma, number 37. On to row 16 of the grid, we've got Brian Allen's wife Helen, the chairwoman of the British Women Racing Drivers Club, at the wheel of her Ford Fiesta. Alongside her is Peter Gillett in a Honda Civic Type R. Then on row 17 we should have Ralph Underwood, number 24, in a Triumph TR7 V8. Watch out for fireworks if Andrew Southcott's out there. That's the Mod Sports MG Midget. Incredibly quick car, and it weighs next to nothing, so expect to see him fairly quickly come through the grid in this one. And at the back of the grid is Julian Wood, electing to start from the back. He's in the Kia Optima. Now, it's not a Kia Optima at all, it's just a silhouette of one. It's a Solution F mid-engined touring car, a little bit like Nigel Mustel's Volvo S60 that we see in GT events. It was built for the Swedish Touring Car Championship back in the mid-2010s. Now, it's a 20-minute race, but the clock has started counting down on the green flag laps to save a little bit of time. We do see that occasionally. There's Andy Southcott. He is there, the Mod Sports Midget. That's going to be up at the front within a few laps, you mark my words. And there is the Kia Optima, which is, it's a silhouette car. The Solution F TC12 is the proper name for it. If you took the bodywork off that, it'd look like a giant single-seater because the engine's behind the driver's seat. Similar to the Lotus Esprit V8 that will be towards the front of the grid. There's Brian Allen's Puma, the yellow car, his wife Helen behind in the Fiesta. Cars are now pulling up onto the grid. Looking outside of my commentary box, Paul Rose isn't there. Simon Alloway's pulling into the pit lane. I think some cars are starting from the pit lane, having made a late decision about tyres. Because there's only one Saker on the front row, which is the green one of Steve Harris, the Dutch-built sports car with the Subaru engine. Ray Harris's Ginetta is there. Simon Alloway's pulled into the pit lane. Well, we've had about 5 amended grid sheets released, so I don't know if the one I'm looking at is correct. Hang on. Let me take a look at the TSL website. Yeah, the pole sitter's not there. Simon Alloway's pulled into the pit lane. Aaron Armiger's there with the Tigra. Roddy Patterson's Caterham is there. Jasviz Sapra, but because of cars not lining up as expected, I think everybody's out of position. David Clark's Saker's there, Chris Petch. Unless there's been a late withdrawal and the info hasn't reached us. But the time is counting down. 16.5 minutes currently on the clock. But we will see a race from the CNC Heads Sports and Saloon cars. There's a few cars possibly missing that were on the grid sheet. It's a shame we haven't got John Wolfett's Spire GTR, the sports racing car out there, the Cheshire-built machine, because that would have been a contender for overall victory. Well, the green flag is waved at the back of this large grid. The revs are up with 16 minutes on the clock, and we get underway. Bit of a mess at the back of the field there, but it is Steve Harris in the Seika that leads. There's Paul Rose. There's about 4 cars in the pit lane. He's one of them. Simon Alloway is another. Meanwhile, everybody else heads around Redgate for the first time. There's Gary Warburton's Mini. Andy Southcutt's already gobbling up his opposition. Peter Kukulas in the MR2 that used to be his road car is in there. He's raced that for a number of years with the championship now. Harris leads. Is that Rick Wood through into second place already? It is in the Skyline. He's gone off the line like a rocket. Also rocketing through there is the number 7 Ginetta of Conor Modrow. He's got ahead of David Clark in the number 46 Seika sports car, the Rapex. As they start to sort themselves out. There's Wood in second, Ray Harris in third, with Aaron Armiger in the Tigra silhouette, similar to the cars that we see in the Intermark silhouette saloons a little bit later on. In fourth position, Roddy Patterson's Caterham fifth. Then it's Jasvier Sapra in sixth place. I think Jasvier Sapra is trying to break the record for the most championships and series raced in a single season. He races something every weekend with one of his collection of M3s. Aaron Armiger up the inside takes Ray Harris at the chicane. There's Chris Petch in his Ginetta. The rest of the pack steams through. There's the 2 Mark 1 Escorts, and Andy Southcott's already in up amongst them. You saw him there, the Mod Sports midget, the number 87 Honda Civic moving through as well. That's of David Green. But it's Harris's 1 and 2, Steve and Ray Harris in first and second place. No, it's Rick Wood in second, sorry, his transponder's not working on the Skyline, so he's just slotted in second on the timing screen. Harris and the Armigers in third. Yeah, Harris in third and Armiger in third and fourth. Roddy Patterson in there as well. I can't keep up with this. Ray Harris is third. There's Roddy Patterson in fourth in the Caterham. Aaron Armiger, Jasvier Sapra. Petch in the Ginetta G50 is next. Now, where's Southcott up to? He was 13th at the end of the first lap. He gained 20 places off the grid. He'll be up with the leaders shortly. So many cars of different power outputs, power to weight ratios and so on. Now, what about the cars that started from the pit lane? There is the Lotus Esprit V8, the 5-litre V8 engine car. As Petch has a go at Sapra. In behind them, that's the championship leader, Ian Bamber, with his Ginetta G20. He's just been taken by Andy Southcott and Gary Wardle. Bamber in the white Ginetta number 56 there. Seen one of those cars win the championship a couple of times in recent years, a red Ginetta G20. That's a Jamie Cryer, but Jamie due to become a father very soon, so not racing this weekend. Jamie will have his own little Cryer to deal with. Thank you, Peter Shearer, the Autosport journalist, for that one. Steve Harris leads in the Seika, then he's 2 seconds ahead of Rick Wood. We concentrate on some of the midfield battles. There's Rick Wood, the Skyline in second. Ray Harris is Ginetta G55 in third. Aaron Armiger is fourth and leads his class. So class leaders, Steve Harris leads Class A. Class B is led by Armiger. There is Simon Alloway, the famous Lotus Esprit V8. Very much in the special GT or Donington GT mould of years gone by with the 5-litre Chevrolet V8. It's effectively a Formula 5000 single-seater, that chassis, with the Esprit body on top. Aaron Armiger in fourth place in his hot rod style Tigra. Peter Gillett has pulled his Honda Civic into the pits, I can tell you. Well, there's Rick Wood in the Skyline in second place. There's Peter Gillett. He's coming out of the pits again, so he's been in to check whatever the problem was. Where's Andy Southcott up to now? He's up to sixth. Started from the back of the grid. He's taking Roddy Patterson now. Won't be long before he's with it. Look at the pace of that Mod Sports midget. The MG Midget Lenham. Probably the lightest car in the field. That's why it's so quick. Quick but fragile, though, that car. See, here's a battle further back. David Green in the Honda Civic. Number 88 is the Renault 5 Turbo of Thomas Frankland. And diving up the inside there, that's one of the Caterhams. That's Bob Buckley in his Caterham 7. Big twitch there from the Renault 5 Turbo, a rare car these days. Tom Franklin said his aim for this year is to at least try and finish some races. That car proving a bit unreliable this year. There's the Kia Optima. Julian Wood, a newcomer to racing that car. He's towards the back of the field. And there's our leader, the green Seika. First time we get a proper look at the Seika sports car. Looks like one of the Group C cars of the 1980s, doesn't it? It's powered by, I believe, a Subaru engine. Slapping Julian Wood in the Kia Optima that isn't, and Bob Claxton, the plumber and heating engineer at the wheel of his Mark III Golf GTI. There's Helen Allen, works for the NHS in the West Midlands. Does so much for the British Women Racing Drivers Club. Ray Harris round the outside at the old hairpin. What a move! That's for position as well for second place. The Ginetta ahead of Rick Wood in the Skyline. Rick Wood, the championship sponsor through CNC Cylinder Heads, but they're being caught by Andy Southcott. He's done the fastest lap of the race, 1:16.243. He's up to fourth place. He'll be in third shortly. But this is where things get confusing, because with the golfing performance between so many different cars, it gets confusing to follow because everybody's being lapped by the quicker runners. There's one of the Caterhams in the background there. That's, I think, is Patterson. Well, here's Andy Southcott. He's caught Rick Wood. Yes, flames from the exhaust. That's what we like to see on the overrun there. There he goes again. And somebody spun off there. That's Rob Wakelin's 205, I think, which caught a glimpse of there, coming out of the old hairpin. Ray Harris is absolutely flying in the Ginetta, chasing his namesake Steve Harris. There's 6.5 seconds between them. Southcott has now got through into third. And now Armiger's catching him as well. Aaron Armiger in the Tigre. Stephen Parker there's got some damage to the front of the BMW Compact. He's hit something somewhere along the way. We didn't see what. And there's Paul Rose. Now, where's he up to with his Seika? He started from the pit lane. Should have been on pole. He's 15th from the back of the field as Guy Carter moves past Parker for 16th. There's the battle between Green and Franklin again. Class leaders, Steve Harris leads Class A. Class B is Aaron Armiger. Class C, that's a little bit further back down the order. It's Bob Buckley's Caterham. Class D is led by Rick Wood. Class E, again further down the order, we'll pick up on that. Once the timing screen, it is Ian Bamber, the championship leader, who leads Class E. That's what you need, because all the classes added together to give the overall champion at the end of the year. Oh, Southcott's pulled into the pits. Andy Southcott has pitted in the Mod Sports midget, so his charge to the front comes to an early end. I said that car was quick but fragile. It's Steve Harris who leads. There's Jasvir Sapper ahead of Gary Wardle, the battle of the saloon cars. That's for 8th place. And there's our championship leader, Ian Bamber. He leads Class E, coming up to lap Helen Allen. And Helen Allen loses it. Oh, nearly spun it there, Helen, onto the grass. I think she was busy watching her mirrors there for the quicker runners and didn't see she got a front wheel over the curb onto the grass. Nice recovery, though. Anyway, we're going through the class leaders, weren't we? There's your Class E leader, Ian Bamber. Class F is being led by Helen Allen. Husband Brian, her only rival. Class G, there were no starters because John Wolfitt didn't make it past qualifying. It's over 6.5 minutes to go now. The lead gap is... Well, the leaders are just coming across the line now. The lead gap is 10.3 seconds between Steve Harris and Ray Harris. Rick Wood still third in the Skyline. This battle's still going on further down the order. Green, Frankland and the 23 of Bod Buckby in the Caterham. Rob Wakelin's 2:05. We just caught a glimpse of there in the background up against the barrier. The sort of Dayglow yellow Peugeot 205. Well, Southcott's demise has meant Roddy Patterson in fourth. Then Chris Petch is fifth, as Franklin tries to make his move in the Renault. Yep, there he goes up the inside. Turbo gets through. Armiger's dropped back as well. He's down to P6 in the Tigra. Through they come to complete another lap. 5.5 minutes left. They're being caught by Simon Alloway in the Esprit V8. Now, where is he? He's 20th. Yeah, so this is 4 positions. Simon Alloway, of course, started from the pits. Rose is up to P12. Paul Rose, he should have started from pole. Where goes the battle for second? Ray Harris has lost second place. Rick Wood's gone through into second position. Now, Harris had gone fairly well clear of the Skyline, so I'm not sure whether Harris has had a moment there. But the Skyline is up to second. He's 16 seconds, though, behind Steve Harris's Seika. There's Paul Rose's Seika taking one of the Caterhams. But of course, now everybody's on different laps. It gets confusing in the closing stages of these CNC Heads Northwest Sports and Saloon car races. But we have only had 1 retirement, or 2 retirements. Andy Southcott, and of course we lost Rob Wakelin. Stephen Parker in the BMW Compact. He's in 16th place. He's slightly battered BMW. He's got Bob Claxton's Golf behind him. Oh, another car into the pits. Darren Owen has retired the Escort by the look of things. The leader is just carving his way through this slot. Here comes Steve Harris. Now, Simon Alloway behind him. I wonder if Harris thinks that Alloway's on the same lap as him and he's challenging for the lead. He's not, Steve. Simon's a lap down. There's Roddy Patterson's number 51 Caterham. He's in 4th. Leader just reeling his way through the back markers here. Paul Rose in the other Seika. He'd normally be up there battling for the overall win with his teammate. Paul Rose, who promotes the Fun Cup Endurance Series. Gary Wardle in the TCR Cupra, still on the tail of Jazz Sapra's M3. We must wish a quick recovery to Lucky Kera, Jazz Sapra's running mate, who took a knock in an accident at Donington last weekend in another of their collection of M3s. He'll be out of racing for a couple of weeks. Jazz Sapra and Lucky Kera, they seem to race somewhere every weekend. Wardle tries to make a move. There's a bit of rain in the air again down at the bottom of the circuit, I think. Sapra holds the place. This is for 7th position. Behind them, Chris Petch in the Ginetta. And behind him is Connor Modrow. So Petch has lost a couple of places there. They're lapping the BMW Mini there as well. That's the 118 of Walker, I think, Rick Walker. Just over 2 minutes on the clock. Still this little group battling it out. The Ginetta G50 of Chris Petch. We see him race with the Classic Sports Car Club on occasions with the rest of his family. Connor Modrow, a veteran of this championship in the slightly smaller G40. Steve Harris, 18 seconds clear of Rick Wood now. There goes Simon Alloway. He's still down in about 20th position. No, he's gained a couple of spots. He's moved up a little now into the top 20. So we're coming into the closing stages now. There are the Sakers. Normally we'd see them battling for the lead, but, well, Paul Rose, who started from the pit lane and according to the timing screen has made a further pit visit, he's just at the fastest lap of the race, 1:14.332, so it's a case of what might have been for Paul Rose. But he's going to enjoy a scrap to the end with his teammate. Look. Roddy Patterson passes the Kia of Julian Wood and Bob Claxton's Golf. Peter Kukulas still going in the MR2 Roadster. Pick up the class leaders at the end as the leader laps Tim Foxlow in that beautiful Mark 1 Escort space frame. Tim Foxlow, a short oval racer for many, many years in the likes of Super Rods and Classic Hot Rods. Bit of change for third as well, I can tell you. Aaron Armiger is up to third in the Tigra. Are we going to see one more lap? Yes, we are. Steve Harris is a few seconds too early over the line there. Now remember, the car behind him, the JPR Motorsport car of Paul Rose, not on the same lap. Oh, the other Sakers come into the pits, David Clark in problems. And now Aaron Armiger has caught Rick Wood. He's going for second. It's a great drive by Armiger in the Tigra. Stephen Parker in front of them is going to be lapped. I think we've lost Guy Carter's TVR as well. He's dropped down the timing screen. So we're going to have a race to the line for second place, but no doubts about your leader. Over 25 seconds up the road, Steve Harris in the Seika. Here he comes into the chicane for the last time, gobbling up back markers, the Mini and the Fiesta there. Over the line he comes. Starting from the front row of the grid, Steve Harris takes the win, leading all the way. Now who's going to be second? Is it going to be Rick Wood or Aaron Armiger? Here they come down the exhibition straight. Is Armiger going to be close enough to make a move into the chicane? He's going to have a look up the inside on the brakes. Rick Wood turns in, just about holding him off. It's going to be close. Can Aaron Armiger get out of the slipstream? No, he can't. He's not going to get close enough. Rick Wood is second in the skyline. Armiger is third. They both win their respective classes, though. Well, we wait to see who's going to take fourth. It should be Ray Harris in the yellow and pink Ginetta. There's the Kia Optima, the Solution F car of Julian Wood. There's Harris over the line for fourth, just ahead of Roddy Patterson, half a second apart those two. Jasper Sapra beats Gary Wardle for sixth position. And then in comes Chris Petch just ahead of Conor Modrow. Now who's going to round out the top 10? Looks like it's going to be Paul Rose, and he'll be the last man on the lead lap. Paul Rose will come in for 10th place. Well, the only car that hasn't taken the checkered flag, oh, there he is, Ian Bamber. So he'll come in to finish in P11 and extends his championship lead with the class win. So 13 laps completed by our race winner, Steve Harris, in the Seika, taking the win by 27 seconds in the end, ahead of Rick Wood in the Skyline. And Aaron Armiger, great run through for third place. They all win their respective classes. Ray Harris in fourth, and Roddy Patterson completes the top five. Jasper Sapra just holding off Gary Wardle. Then Chris Petch, Conor Modrow, and Paul Rose, who got the fastest lap, completing the top 10. Ian Bamber wins Class E in 11th place, extends his championship lead. Tim Foxlow a lap down in 12th. Then Simon Alloway, who started from the pit lane in P13, Tom Franklin in the Renault was 14th, and Stephen Parker completed the top 15. The other class winners, Bod Buckley won Class C, and Class F went to Helen Allen despite that near spin in the Fiesta. Bad luck to Andy Southcott, dropping out after he come through from the back of the grid to 4th. That concludes race 1 for the CNC Heads Sports and Saloon Cars. They will have another race coming up tomorrow at 12:35 p.m. We can head down to Ian in Parc Fermé to hear from some of the drivers.
Grab Steve here. Steve, it's never comfortable, it's never easy because it is motorsport, and it was a bit hairy with conditions out there.
There was actually quite a dry line, but you then start worrying because you're on wet tyres how that's going to start destroying them, so you have to go out in the wet a little bit, try and cool them down, you know, but no, it was good fun.
You look very cool, calm and collected right now after just going out there.
I'm very calm and collective, but very hot, so I don't know about the cool bit.
There's got to be some water. Look, just tell us what is it like to drive this, because it's a stunner, isn't it?
It's great fun, super quick, but when it's really wet, all it wants to do is kill you.
Well, I'm glad it's not really wet then, Steve. Blimey, thanks for talking to us, mate. Well done, congratulations. I'll just jump over here. We'll let Matt go have a chat with him. Let's go back and chat to Rick Wood, shall we? Finishing in 2nd place. We spoke to him before the start of the race, and if it didn't go so well, who's going to blame Jake Hill? But actually, it went quite well, didn't it?
It went better than I had planned.
What were the conditions like out there? How wet was it, or was it not at all?
It wasn't wet at all, so I was having to take some really strange lines to try and keep the tyres cool. So, but it worked, and other people, so I was just about saving my tyres.
It got quite close in the end with Aaron as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it's close enough. It's so fast in a straight line as well. I could control that, but bless him, he did really well.
Well done, Rick. Well done, mate. So congratulations. Let's grab a quick word of Aaron as well, shall we? It was quite the exciting race, wasn't it? And not as wet as we all thought it was going to be. I'm hearing from everybody. Not quite as wet as I was thinking.
No, we went for inters, and I had a spin, and I think I still finished well. So paid off.
Fantastic, well done, congratulations. There you go, CNC Heads. What an absolute lineup of cars we've got here. They've got another race tomorrow, but still plenty of action coming up here at Convoy in the Park. Next race is the pickup trucks. That's going to be a corker. Dave, back to you.